Do you remember when LA Knight seemed like a breakout star ready for the main event? Well, you might, but WWE don't, apparently. But first things first. Joe Tessitore, whatever his name is, the latest in a long line of play-by-play commentators from other actual, real sports. That'll last, I'll say, a year, tops. He's in the ring with Cody Rhodes to start this week's episode of SmackDown. A Cody Rhodes interview, the champ, with a big grudge title belt around the corner at the Royal Rumble. This should be interesting. Big angle of some sort to set the whole episode up, maybe. No, just an interview, actually. A very run-of-the-mill interview where Cody Rhodes tried his darndest to make it vaguely interesting. Did he succeed? Again? No. The crowd liked Cody Rhodes here, in fairness, and they booed Kevin Owens when Rhodes basically asked them to, but this was a nothing segment, and a very blah way to start the show halfway through an episode, fine, but to kick it off, too much talking, right off the bat. Cody Rhodes mentioned Roman Reigns and Randy Orton near the end, possibly hinting at future, much bigger, much more exciting feuds once he's finally done beating Kevin Owens yet again. The middle-aged machine guns defeated Pretty Zesty to the shock of absolutely no one. The Nancy boys aren't allowed to win matches on the main roster, probably for the best. Match went less than 10 minutes. The tag division here, frankly, is very poor. And as uninteresting as these two teams are, they're both way more compelling than current tag champs GAY. Johnny Gargano, I tell you what, any other era, that man barely makes it through developmental, yet alone to a tag title on the main roster. Thanks a bunch, Triple Nose. Oh my days. Crazy Kevin Owens was nice enough to let Cody Rhodes speak freely earlier on in the show. Now though, now that Big Cody's out of the way, he's here to rip that Tessitore guy a new one for that interview we just saw. You know, he could have just interrupted the interview at the start of the show and had a big brawl or something, but no. He'll just throw a fit now that Cody's nowhere to be seen, all while looking like the kind of guy who'd post a video of himself crying to the new Superman trailer or whatever these consumer types love at the moment. Oh, Matthew McConaughey was there. Not a bad actor, actually. I quite liked him in True Detective. He was really good in that. And he made a very convincing dying of AIDS patient in Dallas Buyers Club. Not a bad film, that. He's a bit past it now, though. He's not really that hip. Honestly, when was the last time he was in a big deal movie? And a little Deadpool and Wolverine voice cameo does not count, smartass. Jimmy Uso comes storming out, and I am about to criticize this segment, but before I do, on a bright note, Jimmy Uso is actually, secretly, an underrated singles guy. He's got a sense of humor, and he paces a singles match much better than his brother Jay does. I had a commenter on another video mention this, that a lot of evidence points towards Jimmy actually being the better rounded talent of the Uso brothers, and I am starting to believe it. He's more natural on the mic, and last week, that singles match he had with Carmello Hayes was going places, right before that stupid annoying DQ finish ruined everything. Now that finish, the Team U bloodline attacked Jimmy Uso. You'd think he'd want some revenge, but here he is, randomly picking a fight with Kevin Owens. Barely even a brawl here. Owens just does a runner, looking soft as Cool Whip ahead of his title match next weekend. And then Jimmy demands a match with him, because why not? Oh, big time Royal Rumble announcement. Randy the Ram Robinson, I can't believe Mickey Rourke's gonna try this at his age. He's gonna be in the Women's Royal Rumble. Oh, sorry guys. It's been a long week. That's Charlotte Flair, actually. Apparently, somehow. I'm not definite, but they are saying it is Charlotte Flair. You see, she has a new face every time I see her. And the thing with that, there was a time, maybe it's not the case anymore, but there was a time where wrestlers had to get permission in WWE to alter their appearance. Most of the time, this wound up being for tattoos. Guys like CM Punk, Randy Orton, Wade Barrett, anyone else, would need to be signed off before adding any more ink to their collections. But this extended into other avenues, including cosmetic surgery. Clearly, and this isn't even trolling, this is actually quite serious, poor Charlotte is a bit addicted to the old nip-tuck mayhem, and Andrade, due to not being able to speak a single language on Earth coherently, has been unable to reason with her on this. So why exactly haven't the bigwigs at WWE done so? It'd be for her own good. It's getting dangerous now. Anyways, she announced she's returning at the Royal Rumble, and we're all so excited, because surprises at the Rumble isn't a thing anymore, apparently. It used to be fun when stars would pop up out of nowhere in the Rumble, but whatever, that's okay. No, who likes surprises? No one, apparently. And I'd say there's a pretty good chance she'll win, too, because WWE are obsessed with pushing the daughter of Slick Rick, despite her never being organically over, at all, with anyone, ever. But they keep on trying. Points for the commitment, I guess. Anyways, speaking of cosmetic work, good old Tiffany Straton was out next for Tiffy Time. My voice is too low to even attempt a silly impression of that. Now look, Tiffy Time was amusing the first few times she said it, but like all fun things, it must be overdone and run into the ground. Sort of like my life. Anyways, Stratton came out and did her whole usual shtick, like a caricature of a hot mean girl or something, I think. It was amusing for what it was. And then, Rhea Ripley. This is my protector. I don't even dislike Rhea Ripley. It's nice to see an Australian do well. But that song is awful. Good grief. What a headache inducer. I can't stand it. It makes me ill. Anyways, Ripley cut the usual tough lady promo, this time about Nepo Jax, who then came waddling out. Oh my goodness, this is going off the rails. And for some reason, Nia Snaxes with another resident nobody, Triple Nose loves like a child, Mrs. Johnny Gargano. Not that she even took his name, from what I can tell. To be honest with you, this was my main takeaway from this. Nia Jax kinda sounds like a depressed Karen in need of a jolly good Adderall prescription on the way to taking her kids to a Saturday soccer game. And I can't even remember what she said now either. That's all I remember about it. Anyways, this segment, it just wouldn't end. It just wouldn't end. It just kept going on. And on. And on. Sort of like me talking right now. Bianca Belair came out with Naomi. I just realised how that sounded. Bianca Belair then stepped in with Naomi. And then Liv Morgan was there. Why? What is this? Who belongs on what show? Whatever happened to brand separation and proper official draft lotteries? What a bunch of turd in the punch bowl this is turning into. And just when I thought it was over, just when there was hope, this nightmare of screeching hens, all way out of the burials league. Yeah, even Nia Jax probably. No, I should just start geomaxing or something. Just when I thought it was over, Rhea Ripley went full Christopher Benoit and headbutted Liv Morgan to smithereens to set up a tag team match player. Holla holla. So for this match right off the bat, I guess it goes without saying that Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair are the best workers in this match, and in general, just the best wrestlers in the women's division. Now the match was fine, work rate wise, when at least one of those two was in charge of it. And of course I've mentioned it before, including just last week. The conscious effort to completely cool off Bianca Belair. It's becoming more obvious every week, and it continued here, with her reading the match-ending roll-up pin, courtesy of Liv Morgan. I don't keep up with dirt sheets all that much, to be honest with you. Maybe someone can enlighten me. What is it that Montez Ford and Bianca Belair have done to Triple Nose? Did they sleep with his wife, or take a dump in his lunch? The obsession with keeping them buried in the tag divisions, eating pointless losses, it's just way out of hand. These two are clearly cut out for more. I mean, we've seen Bianca Belair be cut out for way more, but whatever. Anyways, Apollo Crews won a match. That's nice. Between you and me, I actually miss his African Prince gimmick. That was quite interesting. And we're seriously meant to believe a jacked heavyweight like Crews needs to surprise roll-up the likes of Johnny Gargano. What a laugh. Apollo Crews should be steamrollering 205 livers. Jacob Fatu and LA Knight both had quickies with the mic. Good. Two guys who can actually talk and are generally interesting. Fatu hyped himself up for his upcoming Braun Strowman matchup. LA Knight did his usual crowd working fun. No complaints here. And LA Knight versus Tama Tonga. Perfectly fine TV match. Very adequate. Very neat and tidy. These two worked very smoothly together. Tama Tonga moves like he's made out of rubber. LA Knight's moves aren't anything special at all, but he's got great physical presence in the ring. LA Knight survived Tonga's big DDT. Good news for Knight, but it ought to give you an idea of how low on the pecking order Tama Tonga is right now. Knight wins, outsmarting Tonga and Fatu, thank goodness, because I am tired of seeing Eli Drake lose. I'll never understand how he didn't become a big thing much sooner in his career. He's had charisma for days. For years. Right after the match, LA Knight went right back to being a punching bag, because of course he did. A damsel in distress for Big Daddy Braun, the lowest to Braun's clerk. So that big J.O.B. big Strowman, that's all he ever says about himself, could come out and rescue him. Look, it's nice Jacob Fatu was getting some singles time to shine. But beating Braun Strowman means almost nothing now. The guy's jumped non-stop. He was presented as a choke artist at his peak back in the late 2010s. And did pretty much this exact feud, measure for measure, just a few months ago with Bronson Reed. Jacob Fatu, he rules though. He's got plenty of intensity, crazy facial expressions, super agile for such a big tubby monster man, total package. The Samoan werewolf is a star for now, so a Strowman win can hopefully at least be a minor stepping stone up the singles ladder for him. Now, I've come to a conclusion. I've come to the conclusion that Triple Nose might be out to get Carmello Hayes. I've said for ages this guy's a hype job, and the booking of him seemingly wants fans to agree. He's a top draft pick last year, but now eats losses, like Lizzo at Golden Corral. The commentators even say he's not cut out for the job. And time and again this poor little man is put up against big tall men who grew properly, to make him look especially minor league. Exhibit A, Damian Priest, big BDSM goth man, who was nice enough to let Hayes get some offense in and look a little competitive here. Regardless, I think we all knew the ending was never in doubt. Hayes misses the nothing but net and gets demolished via clothesline and south of heaven. Adios, muchacho. And of course he does. And I wouldn't have it any other way, because Damian Priest is a solid babyface act. And losing to a man seemingly, literally half his size, would have been a catastrophic start to his time on SmackDown. Oh, and in the main event, here we go. Kevin Owens picked up a win, sending Jimmy Uso packing. Again, Uso looks good here. It was an odd matchup at a glance. Wasn't main event worthy? Debatable. But these two put in the extra 10% by TV standards to keep the crowd engaged. Owens in this heel role, you know, he's suitably aggressive. He's never reached the bloodbath brawler chaos of his indie days before WWE since coming to the big leagues, but he still knows how to play a vicious bully when called for. Jimmy Uso, you know, to be fair to him, he really does come across quite well as a fiery babyface. He's ultimately outmatched by a more ruthless, seasoned opponent here though, which made for a logical story considering how the two are presented. There's a sharp finish with Owens scuppering Uso's top rope plans, running him into the ring post, and then just squashing him with the pop-up powerbomb for the win. Right decision. Jimmy Uso is growing on fans, but you can't have Kevin Owens jobbing ahead of a major title match at one of the biggest events of the year next weekend. It would be absurd. He's already struggling to seem credible as it is. Scumbag Kevin Owens went to basically assassinate Jimmy Uso with the pile driver, which is now a deadly finisher, apparently, for the first time since the Jerry Lawler-Andy Kaufman feud, seemingly. Cody Rhodes saved him, because what kind of scumbag would the American Nightmare be in kayfabe if he didn't? That's what the hero does. Even one as teary-eyed as good old soft boy Cody. Look, you know, often I do these reviews quite late and very busy on the weekends. I see a lot of channels who've uploaded before me and will get more views than me, saying this is the worst SmackDown ever every week. Ooh, terrible. Cancel this show. And it's funny. I like it. Titles like that, they make me laugh. And this was a nothing episode, to be honest. But at the same time, it whizzed by for the most part. It advanced some angles, and it did do its job in promoting Saturday night's main event, just a little bit. Passable telly for wrestling fans, even if it felt a bit anemic on star power and heat.